October is the month of the Holy Rosary and Respect Life Month, and so today we're joined by Marianne Luthin, the director of the Pro-Life Office, and Project Rachel for the Archdiocese of Boston. Thanks so much, Marianne, for being with us.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity to talk about Respect Life during this very special month.
It is a great time to celebrate. We're going to talk about the theme a little bit later on, but the theme of today's show here at Catholic TV is family prayer and healing. And I think the mission, certainly, of Project Rachel is a great fit. How does this healing ministry help families, not just the families themselves, but our church family?
Sure, in so many different ways. The first thing that comes to mind, Bonnie, oftentimes when there's an unexpected pregnancy in a family, there can be a lot of division and strife. And there have unfortunately been many, many cases where, for example, parents have encouraged their daughters to have abortions. And those women who've had abortions can often fall into a downward spiral. And there's a lot of anger. It's not talked about. And being able to encounter love and forgiveness and healing through Project Rachel, entire families can be restored. The communication begins again, and life is back to where it should be. And unfortunately, it often takes many, many years before women find out about Project Rachel or are able to feel comfortable doing a retreat or speaking with a priest or a counselor, but it has had enormous impact. And in looking, prospectively as well, it helps, especially younger women who have children at home. They become much better parents because they understand what love and forgiveness is all about, and they've encountered God and they share that with their children. And the other way in which families are impacted within the parish community, just think about it. If you have encountered the love and mercy of God in such an intense way as women do through Project Rachel, you're alive in the faith and you want to share that faith with others. So many, many women get very involved in their parishes. Not necessarily making a public announcement, I had an abortion, but rather living their life in faith community.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's certainly, very individual in the families and certainly the extended families in our parish communities. But as a greater community, maybe your family isn't impacted by abortion. So why, is it so important for all of us to recognize the importance of Respect Life Month? And tell us about this year's theme.
Sure. Well, every year in October, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops designates the month as Respect for Life Month. This year, the theme is Live the Gospel of Life. And it was a beautiful theme. Of course, a lot of this was developed before COVID, and some of the plans, like other parts of our world, had to change. But this actually is the 25th anniversary of the remarkable encyclical by John Paul II, The Gospel of Life, which, by the way, was the first time a pope had ever addressed women who had had abortions. And much of the Project Rachel ministry grew as a result of that amazing document.
Project Rachel ministers to all the family members, pregnancy help resources, to the family members who suffered, as you mentioned in our first topic that we discussed. Tell us about the resources for that entirely holistic approach.
Okay, now you told me we only had 6 minutes, so I'll have to do this really fast. But, we are just so proud of the ministries that have developed here in the Archdiocese of Boston to support women and families throughout pregnancy, after pregnancy, and in the case of those who've had abortions, whenever they need that help. And sometimes that help has not come until women are literally on their deathbeds, because abortion is an issue that many women, many men find very difficult to talk about. And if you don't talk about it, you can't get to a place of healing. So with our pregnancy help ministry, we have nurses and trilingual caseworkers who are available to meet and to support women one-on-one, no charge, no expense, no time frame is too long, to provide the support and encouragement that they need to be able to find the resources to be a good parent. A lot of the women who come feel so isolated. Sometimes their family has abandoned them. Oftentimes the father of the baby has, and they feel they're alone. But in their heart of hearts, they know that they do not want to have an abortion. And so The support of pregnancy help enables women to make life-affirming decisions. And, they continue to work throughout the pregnancy, provide education, material support, into the parenting period as well. And, oftentimes, up to as many as 3 years afterwards of being that kind of support. And, sometimes it is a family who has experienced a medical emergency, job unemployment. There are a lot of reasons that pregnancies become very difficult, and the church is there to support them. As, by the way, in that same encyclical of John Paul II, he called on dioceses to establish programs like this to help families. So that's the other way that John Paul II and Evangelium Vitae fit in here. Yeah. In terms of the work of Project Rachel, obviously it's for women who have already experienced abortion. And it's kind of interesting if you look at the demographics, Bonnie. The abortion rate, right now is 1/2 of what it was at its high. Yeah. So we are actually lower now than at the time of Roe versus Wade. But that's the good news. But if you think about it, on the other hand, that means there are a lot of older women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, who had abortions many years ago when it wasn't talked about, and they've been living with this pain for their entire adult life.
It's such a tragedy. It's just such a tragedy that people, have to deal with that. How can, as you mentioned, we had just a short period of time and we are out of it. So what website can people visit to learn more about this great ministry?
Well, the Project Rachel website is brand new last week, so we encourage women to look at it. There's actually some testimonies of women who'll share their stories. That can be found at www.projectrachelboston.com, and our pregnancy help website is pregnancyhelpboston.org. So lots of resources, and feel free, anyone, to call or email if you need more information or would like to refer someone for services.
That's great. Thanks so much, Marianne, for helping us kick off Respect Life Month. We so appreciate your time, and it was great to talk with you. Thanks so much.
Good to talk with you, Bonnie. Thanks so much.